The ultimatum. For millennia, the stellar imperium had reigned supreme over the known galaxy. A vast coalition of advanced alien species, they saw themselves as the ultimate authority, benevolent overseers guiding lesser races towards enlightenment. But beneath this noble facade lay an iron grip that demanded absolute loyalty and hefty tributes from all who fell under their protection. Earth, a small blue planet on the outer rim of the Milky Way, had long been observed by the Imperium's scouts. They watched as humanity crawled out of its cradle, took its first tentative steps into space, and began to spread across its solar system. The Imperium's leaders debated endlessly about when to make first contact, some arguing that humans were still too primitive, others insisting that their rapid technological advancements made them a potential threat if left unchecked. On a crisp autumn morning in 2157, the debate was settled. A massive Imperium warship, sleek and imposing, materialized in Earth's orbit. Its sudden appearance sent shockwaves through human society, from the highest echelons of government to ordinary citizens glued to their screens. Admiral Elena Chen, commander of Earth's fledgling space fleet, was the first to receive the Imperium's transmission. The alien envoy's hologram flickered to life on the bridge of her flagship, revealing a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to hold the depths of space within them. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the envoy began, its voice a melodious yet unsettling chorus. "I am Zixol, emissary of the Stellar Imperium. We have watched your species with great interest, and the time has come for you to take your place among the galactic community." Admiral Chen, a veteran of countless diplomatic missions, felt a chill run down her spine. There was something in Zixol's tone, a hint of condescension perhaps, that set her on edge. "We are honored by your presence," she replied cautiously. "Earth looks forward to peaceful relations with your people." Zixol's lips curled into what might have been a smile. "Peace is assured, Admiral, so long as Earth understands its role. The Imperium offers protection and guidance to all species under its care. In return, we require a simple tribute." And there it was, the catch that Chen had been dreading. She steeled herself for what was to come. "Tribute, Emissary Zixol. Indeed, a modest contribution of your planet's resources, technology, and most promising individuals to serve the greater good of the Imperium. In exchange, you will receive our protection and access to knowledge beyond your wildest dreams." Chen's mind raced. This wasn't a diplomatic overture. It was an ultimatum thinly veiled as a generous offer. "I see," she managed. "This is a significant decision that will require consultation with Earth's leadership. May we have time to discuss your proposal?" Zixol's eyes narrowed almost imperceptibly. "Of course, Admiral. The Imperium is nothing if not patient. You have 3 of your Earth days to provide your answer. Choose wisely." As the hologram faded, Chen slumped in her chair, the weight of what had just transpired bearing down on her. She knew that the next 72 hours would determine the fate of humanity. News of the Imperium's demands spread like wildfire across the globe. Emergency sessions were called in every major government, the United Nations convened in crisis mode, and citizens everywhere debated what this meant for Earth's future. In Washington, D.C., President Amara Okafor addressed a joint session of Congress, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "My fellow Americans, citizens of Earth, we stand at a crossroads unlike any in human history. The choice before us is stark: submit to the will of an alien power or risk potential annihilation." Similar scenes played out in capitals around the world. In Beijing, Premier Lai Xu spoke of the need for unity in the face of this cosmic threat. From New Delhi, Prime Minister Rajiv Patel called for calm and rational deliberation. In Moscow, President Anastasia Volkova reminded her people of humanity's long history of resistance against tyranny. As the hours ticked by, a global consensus began to emerge. Humanity, despite its many divisions, was united in the belief that submission to the Imperium was not an option they could accept. In a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a group of Earth's brightest minds had gathered. Dr. Kwame Osei, a brilliant physicist from Ghana, stood before a holographic display of the Imperium warship. Their technology is centuries beyond ours, he explained to the assembled leaders. A direct confrontation would be suicide. Then what options do we have? Demanded General Zhang Wei of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. We cannot simply roll over and accept their demands. Dr. Sarah Cohen, a renowned expert in xenobiology, stepped forward. Maybe we don't have to fight them on their terms. We've been working on something, a project so classified that only a handful of people know of its existence. All eyes turned to her as she continued. It's a device that could, in theory, disrupt the energy signatures we detected from the Imperium ship. We call it the pulse. And you're certain it will work? President Okafor asked, her brow furrowed with concern. Dr. Cohen exchanged glances with her colleagues. Certain? No, but it's the best chance we have. As the final hours of the Imperium's deadline approached, Earth made its preparations. The pulse was moved into position, hidden within an innocuous satellite. Military forces around the world were placed on high alert, and civilians were advised to be ready for any eventuality. Admiral Chen once again found herself face to face with Zixal's hologram. The emissary's confidence was palpable, clearly expecting Earth's capitulation. Well, Admiral, Zixal prompted, what is humanity's response to the Imperium's generous offer? Chen took a deep breath, acutely aware that the eyes of every human on the planet were upon her. She thought of all the great moments in Earth's history, of the countless times humanity had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. In that moment, she knew there was only one answer she could give. Emissary Zixal, Chen began, her voice unwavering, on behalf of the people of Earth, I thank you for your offer. We have carefully considered your terms, and our response is as follows. She paused, allowing the tension to build, then delivered humanity's reply with all the defiance she could muster. No. The single word hung in the air, its implications rippling across the vastness of space. Zixal's composed demeanor cracked, revealing a flash of shock and anger. No, the emissary repeated, as if unable to comprehend the concept. You dare to refuse the Imperium? We do, Chen confirmed, her resolve strengthening with each word. Earth will not submit to tyranny, no matter how benevolent it claims to be. We choose freedom, even if it means standing alone against the galaxy. Zixal's hologram flickered, the emissary's form seeming to grow larger, more menacing. You have made a grave mistake, humans. The consequences of your defiance will be swift and terrible. Prepare yourselves for... The transmission cut off abruptly as Chen gave the signal. Across the globe, in hidden bunkers and command centers, technicians activated the pulse. A wave of invisible energy radiated outward, enveloping the Imperium warship in its field. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first but with increasing speed, the massive alien vessel began to drift. Its lights flickered and died, and it hung in orbit like a colossal, lifeless husk. On the bridge of her ship, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had taken its first step in defying the cosmos, and the real battle was about to begin. As news of Earth's defiance and the success of the pulse spread, a mixture of elation and terror gripped the planet. Humanity had won the first round, but everyone knew that this was only the beginning. The Stellar Imperium would not take this insult lightly, and their retribution would be swift and merciless. But for now, in this brief moment of victory, the people of Earth stood united, ready to face whatever challenges the universe might throw their way. The cosmic crucible had begun, and humanity was determined to emerge from it stronger than ever. The counterattack, the euphoria of Earth's initial victory, was short-lived. Within days of the Imperium warship's incapacitation, long-range sensors detected a massive fleet approaching the solar system. The Stellar Imperium, it seemed, was not about to let humanity's defiance go unpunished. Admiral Elena Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her face grim as she delivered her report. The Imperium fleet will reach our outer defense perimeter in less than 72 hours. Their numbers are overwhelming. President Amara Okafor leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching Armada. And our chances of repeating our previous success. Dr. Kwang Ose shook his head. The pulse was effective against a single ship, but we don't have the resources to generate a field large enough to disable an entire fleet. Moreover, it's likely they've already developed countermeasures. A heavy silence fell over the room. It was General Zhang Wei who finally broke it. Then we fight. We may be outgunned, but humanity has never backed down from a challenge. We'll make them pay for every inch of our solar system. As the council debated strategy, Dr. Sarah Cohen quietly slipped out of the room. She made her way to a secure communications terminal and initiated a heavily encrypted transmission. Project Lazarus is ready, she whispered to the figure that appeared on the screen. It's time to wake them up. Across the globe, humanity prepared for war. Cities were evacuated, orbital defense platforms were manned, and Earth's fledgling space fleet took up defensive positions. But even as they readied themselves for conventional battle, a select few worked tirelessly on a plan that could turn the tide. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a secret facility unknown even to most of Earth's leadership, rows of stasis pods hummed to life. Inside each pod was a volunteer, a human who had undergone extensive genetic modification and cybernetic enhancement. They were Earth's secret weapon, a force of super soldiers codenamed the Lazarus Legion. As the Imperium fleet entered the solar system, they encountered only token resistance. Admiral Zoxan, leader of the punitive expedition, allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. These primitives would learn the price of defying the Imperium. "Launch the first wave," he commanded. "Let's remind these humans of their place in the galaxy." Thousands of fighter craft poured from the Imperium's capital ships, descending upon Earth's orbital defenses like a swarm of angry insects. The battle was fierce but one-sided. Earth's weapons, while advanced by human standards, were woefully outmatched by Imperium technology. On the ground, people watched in horror as explosions lit up the night sky. It seemed that humanity's defiance would be short-lived, ending in swift and total defeat. But even as all seemed lost, a new player entered the field. From the far side of the moon, a sleek, previously undetected vessel emerged. Its design was like nothing the Imperium had ever encountered, a fusion of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. Aboard this ship, the CSS Prometheus, Colonel Aria Donovan addressed her troops. The members of the Lazarus Legion stood at attention, their enhanced bodies humming with barely contained energy. "Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the freedom of every species that has suffered under Imperium rule. We are humanity's last, best hope. Let's show these aliens what we're made of." The Prometheus streaked across space, its advanced stealth systems allowing it to penetrate deep into the heart of the Imperium fleet before they even realized it was there. And then chaos erupted. Lazarus Legion soldiers, encased in cutting-edge battle suits, launched themselves into space. They moved with inhuman speed and precision, boarding Imperium ships and wreaking havoc from within. Their enhanced strength and reflexes, combined with their intimate knowledge of Imperium technology gleaned from years of secret study, made them a force to be reckoned with. Admiral Zoxan watched in disbelief as ship after ship went dark, disabled by these unexpected invaders. "Impossible," he muttered. "How can these primitives possess such capability?" But the Lazarus Legion was just the beginning. As the Imperium fleet faltered, the true nature of Earth's defense plan became clear. The orbital platforms that had seemed so ineffective earlier now sprang to life, revealing themselves to be more than mere weapons. They were nodes in a vast energy network, and at its center was an upgraded version of the pulse device. Dr. Ose's voice crackled over the comms, initiating Operation Shockwave in 3, 2, 1. A massive surge of energy erupted from Earth, expanding outward in a rippling wave. But unlike the previous pulse, this one was targeted, its effects amplified by the network of orbital platforms. It washed over the Imperium fleet, shorting out systems and leaving ships drifting helplessly in space. In the confusion, Earth's remaining defense forces launched a counterattack. Led by Admiral Chen, they struck hard and fast, targeting key Imperium vessels with surgical precision. The battle raged for hours, but slowly, inexorably, the tide began to turn. The Imperium, for the first time in centuries, found itself on the defensive. Their technological superiority, long taken for granted, was being countered by human adaptability and sheer determination. As the Prometheus disabled yet another capital ship, Colonel Donovan received an urgent transmission from Earth. It was President Okafor herself. "Colonel, we've intercepted a transmission from the Imperium flagship. They're calling for reinforcements. We need to end this now, before we're overwhelmed." Donovan nodded grimly. "Understood, Madam President. We'll take care of it." In a daring maneuver, the Prometheus charged straight for the Imperium flagship. Lazarus Legion troops boarded the massive vessel, fighting their way through its corridors with single-minded purpose. Their target, the ship's bridge and Admiral Zoxan himself, the Imperium Admiral, faced with these unstoppable human warriors, felt fear for the first time in his long life. As Colonel Donovan burst onto the bridge, her armor scarred but her resolve unshaken, Zoxan knew that everything had changed. "In the name of Earth and all free peoples of the galaxy," Donovan declared, "I hereby accept your surrender." Across the battlefield, Imperium ships began powering down their weapons. The unthinkable had happened. Humanity had won. As the dust settled and the full extent of Earth's victory became clear, the implications rippled across the galaxy. News spread quickly through subspace channels, carried by merchants and smugglers to the farthest reaches of Imperium-controlled space. On countless worlds, subjugated species who had long lived under the Imperium's thumb heard the incredible tale. A young, primitive race on the galactic fringe had stood up to the mighty stellar Imperium and triumphed. At first, there was disbelief. Surely, this was nothing more than wild rumors, a fanciful story meant to entertain. But as more reports flooded in, as Imperium forces scrambled to contain the spreading news, the truth became undeniable. Hope, long suppressed, began to flicker to life in the hearts of billions. If humanity could defy the Imperium and survive, could others do the same? The seeds of revolution, planted by Earth's audacious stand, began to take root. Back on Earth, the celebration was tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. Humanity had won a great victory, but the war was far from over. The Imperium would not take this defeat lightly, and their retribution, when it came, would be terrible. In the halls of power, leaders grappled with the enormity of what they had done and what was yet to come. They had struck a blow for freedom, not just for Earth, but potentially for the entire galaxy. The responsibility was enormous, but so too was the opportunity. Admiral Chen, surveying the debris-strewn space around Earth, turned to President Okafor. "What now?" she asked. Okafor's gaze was fixed on the stars, her expression a mixture of determination and wonder. "Now," she said, "we take the fight to them. We've shown the galaxy that the Imperium can be beaten. It's time to build alliances, to reach out to others who yearn for freedom. The stellar Imperium's days of unchallenged rule are over." As Earth began the monumental task of preparing for a prolonged interstellar conflict, a new era dawned. Humanity, once isolated and alone, was about to step onto the galactic stage as a champion of liberty. The cosmic crucible had forged them into something new, something powerful. The battle for Earth was over. The war for the galaxy had just begun. The Galactic Revolution. In the months following Earth's stunning victory, the galaxy was abuzz with whispers of rebellion. The news of humanity's defiance spread like wildfire, igniting the hopes of countless species who had long suffered under the Imperium's iron-fisted rule. Earth, once an insignificant backwater, had become a beacon of hope in a sea of oppression. President Amara Okafor stood before the newly formed Galactic Alliance Council, her voice resonating with passion and conviction. "We didn't ask for this role," she declared, addressing representatives from a dozen alien species who had answered Earth's call. "But now that we have it, we embrace it fully. The Imperium's tyranny ends here, ends now, not just for humanity, but for all free peoples of the galaxy." The chamber erupted in cheers, a cacophony of alien voices united in purpose. Among the delegates was Zykara, a former Imperium scientist who had defected after witnessing Earth's incredible stand. Her crystalline form shimmered as she spoke. "The Imperium's strength has always been its advanced technology. But Earth has proven that innovation and adaptability can overcome even the mightiest weapons. Together we can pool our knowledge and create something the galaxy has never seen before, a true coalition of equals." As Alliance forces landed on the capital world, there was no final dramatic showdown. The Imperium, for all its grand proclamations and fearsome reputation, surrendered with a whimper rather than a roar. In the following weeks, as news of the Imperium's fall spread across the galaxy, countless worlds erupted in celebration. Species that had been brutally subjugated for generations tasted freedom for the first time. The age of the Stellar Imperium was over. But with victory came new challenges. How would this vast, diverse alliance of species govern itself? How could they ensure that the power vacuum left by the Imperium's collapse didn't lead to chaos or the rise of new tyrants? On Earth, now recognized as the birthplace of galactic liberty, leaders from every corner of known space gathered to shape the future. The debates were fierce, the task monumental, but there was an undercurrent of hope that permeated every discussion. President Okafor, addressing the inaugural session of the new Galactic Senate, summed up the mood. "We stand at a crossroads of cosmic proportions. The path ahead is uncertain, filled with challenges we can scarcely imagine, but we face them not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as equals. Every voice in this vast galaxy deserves to be heard. Every species has something unique to contribute. Together, we will forge a future brighter than any single world could achieve alone." As the delegates applauded, Admiral Chen found herself standing next to Zykara, the Imperium defector who had become one of Earth's staunchest allies. "Did you ever imagine it would end like this?" Zykara asked, her crystalline form refracting the light in mesmerizing patterns. Chen shook her head, a small smile playing on her lips. "Honestly, when we first said no to the Imperium, I thought it might be the last word humanity ever spoke. But look at us now." Zykara's form shimmered in what Chen had come to recognize as laughter. "You humans are full of surprises. I suspect the galaxy will never be the same now that you're part of it." As they watched the proceedings, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of pride mixed with humility. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and while the journey ahead was uncertain, the possibilities were endless. In classrooms across Earth and 1,000 other worlds, children would learn of the day when a small blue planet stood up to an empire that spanned the stars. They would learn of the power of defiance, of unity, of hope against overwhelming odds. But perhaps most importantly, they would learn that the universe is vast and full of wonders, that no power is truly absolute, and that even the smallest voice can change the course of history. As the new galactic civilization took its first tentative steps, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter. The cosmic crucible had forged not just Earth, but the entire galaxy into something new, something filled with promise. The next great adventure was just beginning. As the alliance began to take shape, the Imperium's response was swift and brutal. Worlds suspected of harboring rebellious sentiments were subjected to harsh crackdowns. Entire systems were placed under lockdown, their populations living in fear of Imperium reprisals. But the more the Imperium tightened its grip, the more star systems slipped through its fingers. The revolution, once a mere spark, had become a raging inferno. On the frontier world of Novus Prime, Colonel Aria Donovan, and her Lazarus Legion fought alongside local resistance fighters, their enhanced abilities turning the tide of battle after battle. As they liberated the planet's capital, Donovan received an urgent transmission from Admiral Chen. "We've intercepted Imperium communications." Chen's hologram flickered with barely contained excitement. "They're planning to unleash a superweapon, something called the Nova Eradicator. It has the power to strip entire planets of their atmospheres. We need to stop it, Area." Donovan's eyes narrowed. "Send me the coordinates. The Legion will handle it." Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Earth's forces, now bolstered by allies from 100 worlds, struck at Imperium's strongholds with precision and ferocity. The human capacity for unconventional thinking, combined with alien technologies and knowledge, created a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Dr. Sarah Cohen, working with a team of the brightest minds from a dozen species, made breakthrough after breakthrough. New shields that could withstand the Imperium's most powerful weapons, drives that could outmaneuver their fastest ships, communication systems that the Imperium couldn't intercept or jam. But for every victory the Alliance achieved, the Imperium's desperation grew. Worlds that refused to submit were made examples of, entire populations displaced or worse. The conflict escalated, threatening to tear the very fabric of the galaxy apart. It all came to a head in the Nexus system, home to the Imperium's capital world of Imperius Prime. Here, the final battle would be fought, the fate of countless civilizations hanging in the balance. The Alliance fleet, a patchwork armada of ships from every corner of the galaxy, faced off against the full might of the Imperium's forces. At the heart of the Imperium formation loomed a massive station, the Nova Eradicator, poised to unleash devastation on an unimaginable scale. Admiral Elena Chen, commanding the Alliance flagship Defiance, surveyed the battlefield before her. The odds were staggering, but she felt a calm certainty. This was what humanity had been preparing for since that fateful day when they said no to the Imperium's demands. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen," her voice carried across the entire fleet. "The moment we fought for is here, not just for Earth, but for every being who has ever dreamed of freedom. Today, we make that dream a reality, for the Alliance." The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. Ships clashed in intricate dances of destruction, energy weapons lit up the void, and fighters darted between capital ships like swarms of angry insects. At the heart of the chaos, the Prometheus and its Lazarus Legion spearheaded a daring assault on the Nova Eradicator. Colonel Donovan, leading from the front as always, fought her way through waves of Imperium defenders. "Almost there," she grunted, her armor scorched and dented. "Dr. Cohen, are you ready with the override codes?" Back on Earth, Sarah Cohen's fingers flew over holographic displays. "Ready, Colonel. Once you reach the main control room, we'll have one shot at this. Make it count." The next few moments seemed to stretch into eternity. Donovan and her team, battered but unbroken, finally breached the Eradicator's core. As Imperium reinforcements closed in, Cohen initiated the override sequence. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, with a series of thunderous explosions, the Nova Eradicator began to tear itself apart from the inside. "It's done," Donovan's wary voice crackled over the comms. "The Eradicator is neutralized." A cheer went up across the Alliance fleet. Without their superweapon, the Imperium's resolve began to crumble. Ship after ship powered down weapons, signaling surrender. On Imperius Prime, the Imperium's ruling council watched in disbelief as their once invincible armada was reduced to floating wreckage. Millennia of absolute power, undone in a matter of hours by a coalition led by a species they had dismissed as primitive.